All right, so we're here with the September record haul, and I can't believe a whole month has already passed. Technically, today is September the 28th, so I still have 2 more days, and I think there is going to be one more thing that comes on the 30th, but it's not a big deal, and I'll just include that in the October haul. Last month we had 24 new records. 4 of those were records that were given to me, which was a blessing, of course. This month I did do better than that, trying to cut back. And I plan to cut back even more in October. We're getting into the holidays. We have some financial requirements that are coming up, not just with holidays, but just with life stuff. And so we're going to cut back even a little bit more. I don't think I'll ever stop picking up records every month. There's always going to be records that I want. So we're just trying to, make it a little bit more of a responsible choice and not go crazy. I wish I could. One day I'll win the lottery and I'll have a room just for records. It'll be amazing. That might be crazy. You see those people with the rooms that are like just for records, and then like there's records lining all the walls all the way up, and I'm like, man, you better have a good organization system because how are you going to find what you want to hear? But I digress. One of the things that we were trying to do, and we did this some last month, is we're picking an artist and we're trying to fill out that collection, get everything that we want, which is usually at least all the studio albums of that particular artist. So we've been working on Death Cab for Cutie, and we definitely continued on the Death Cab for Cutie train. So Saint Marie Records, which is one of my favorite record shops here in Fort Worth. Again, I have a video in the works about them. I just need to complete it. Saint Marie Records is where we stopped to pick up several of these records actually. So we picked up the first one we picked up for the month was We Have the Facts and We're Voting Yes. This is the second studio album by Death Cab for Cutie. The hype sticker here says DCFC's indie classic second studio album includes 405 and Company Calls, pressed on 180 gram vinyl with original die cut art and downloadable code. So yeah, the little dots down here are the die cut art. Nothing really super special about this as far as like the color. It is just 180 gram black vinyl, so I won't pull it out. But it is a great record. Now, I have started, when they give you one of these white inner liners or inner sleeves, but it is lined with like the rice paper, I am like okay with those, so I'll keep those. But you do have to pay attention because the seams will split on those. And so then I will replace it with a nicer inner sleeve. But, trying to be more cost effective and not just do that every single time. So I was given tickets to a concert by a good friend of mine. Ended up being a fantastic concert that I went to with a friend I've had since like kindergarten. And we went to the Green Day Saviors Tour, which was opened by the Linda Lindas, and then it was Rancid and Smashing Pumpkins and Green Day. I've been a fan of pretty much all those bands for a long time, but if I'm being honest, I'm not a huge fan of Smashing Pumpkins in the sense that like I like their music, but I never had any of their albums, and so I just don't know their music as well as I'd like. So in preparation for the concert, I was like, oh, I've got to pick up, and I'm not going to pick up anything at the concert, so I'm going to pick up this record. I picked up the Smashing Pumpkins Greatest Hits. I believe this is actually called like Rotten Apples, the Smashing Pumpkins Greatest Hits. And believe it or not, St. Marie Records, again, had the Walmart exclusive pressing in their store. So I guess someone had resold it, and it was on this like Rotten Apple Red vinyl. So we picked that up. And it does have, like the Rotten Apple Red vinyl does have like a little bit of like a design, like a black splatter inside. It's like, well, actually it's more of like it's not really a black splatter. It's more like a marbling effect. I don't know if you can even really see it. You can see it a little bit. But that was my favorite colored pressing of that album, so I picked that up. Now, the next one was a gift that I was sent by my good friend Gary Mastriano. Gary, who just had his birthday. If you know Gary, you probably love Gary because Gary's good people. Gary from New Jersey. Gary from the Monster Rally podcast. Gary from the Backyard Superheroes sent me the Backyard Superheroes album, Mass Hysteria. This is on orange vinyl. And I was pretty lucky to get some of the tracks from this album ahead of time digitally just to listen to it and give feedback. And it's a great album. I mean, I think that they did a fantastic job. The songs are amazing. The band came together in a really great way, and I highly recommend this album if you haven't picked it up. They have it on green vinyl and on orange vinyl. You should definitely pick this up. So this one was one that didn't cost me anything, but I'm so glad to have as part of my collection. And I would have bought it if it wasn't already being sent to me. So still going on a little bit of that country kick from the past months. I ordered this a few months back as soon as I found out that it was coming out. And I looked and found my favorite variant of it as well. My favorite variant of this one was a Walmart exclusive, so I did order it from Walmart. And that is Miranda Lambert Postcards from Texas. Now, the Walmart version has a different cover than the other versions. And then it has this really beautiful, they call it Sea Blue Mix vinyl. But I really did like the color of this vinyl as well. Let me see if I can pull it out for a second for you to see it. If I can get my fingers in there. So it's actually, I feel like it's a little darker than it's showing up on camera. But just a really beautiful, brilliant blue color, which, you know, you get blue sometimes, but this, I really liked this blue. So, and this album is fantastic, y'all. I really do like Miranda Lambert. I've seen her live a couple times. Growing up in Texas, I grew up hating country because country was everywhere. And then I found that I liked it as I got a little older and started really listening to it. And this album, it's got some great tracks, funny tracks, some serious tracks. Alimony is one that just will not get out of my head once I listen to it. And then Wranglers, the first single, is really, really good too. So I highly recommend Miranda Lambert's Postcards from Texas. That's a great one. Now, another thing we've been trying to do is collect some more Christmas music for some planned get-togethers this winter. And so one of the ones that I ordered way back when I ordered all those other ones that you've already seen, but this one was a pre-release, so it hadn't come out yet. I pre-ordered, and that is When I Think of Christmas, and this is by Amy Grant and Vince Gill. Now, this is it says, includes 11 of your favorite Christmas songs inspired by their Ryman residency, and it's on an Apple Red vinyl. So every year, Vince Gill and Amy Grant do a concert at the Ryman to celebrate the holidays. And so this album is really like kind of based off of that. Some of these are Amy Grant Christmas songs. Some are Vince Gill. There's a couple songs they do together. And there's 2 tracks on here that are original to this album. So I've listened to it already. I really enjoy it. So I'm really glad to have that in the collection. There's sort of a story behind that. We were going to go see Amy Grant and Michael W. Smith last Christmas. My wife and I were. But unfortunately, my wife had to have a surgery, and we did not get to go to that concert. And so it was nice to have a little Amy Grant Christmas added to our collection here. So now here's one I really didn't think was going to get pressed on vinyl anytime soon. And just on a whim, I decided to Google it. And sure enough, it was just getting a repressing. So I was like, I got to order this immediately. And that is the soundtrack for 500 Days of Summer. I love this album, you guys. It's got the Smiths on it. It's got so much good music. It's got Hall & Oates. I love this movie very much. I can relate in a lot of ways to some of the characters in this movie, which maybe doesn't say great things about me, but, you know, we live and grow as we get older. But I highly recommend this movie if you've never seen it. It's got Zooey Deschanel. It's got Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Such a good movie. Such a good soundtrack. Let's see if and obviously it's on this like sort of sky blue, real light blue. Let me see if I can tell you some of the tracks that are on here a little bit better than I have so far. We have, oh my gosh, the old vision is not helping. There's Regina Spektor is on here twice. She does Us, and then there's another one later. The Smiths, There's a Light That Never Goes Out. Black Lips, Bad Kids. The Smiths, Please, 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 Let Me Get What I Want. The Doves, There Goes the Fear. Hall & Oates, You Make My Dreams. The Temper Trap, Sweet Disposition. Carla Bruni, I'm going to destroy this French. Quelqu'un m'appelle. So sorry. Feist, Mushaboom. Gosh, I love that song, Mushaboom. Regina Spektor again with Hero. Simon and Garfunkel, Bookends. Wolf Mother, Vagabond. Mum Ra, She's Got You High. Megan Smith, Here Comes Your Man. And then She and Him, which is a band with Zooey Deschanel and M. Ward. And they're doing Please, 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 Let Me Get What I Want. And so, yeah, I've got a lot of She and Him music already on vinyl. But very glad to have this as a part of the collection. This was an Urban Outfitters exclusive. And it's pretty recent, so you could probably still find it. I ordered it and had it shipped well before it came out. So Okay, so we continued to talk about what Christmas music we needed in the house, and we realized that one of the things that we loved the movie, loved the soundtrack, and it's probably the Christmas movie that our kids enjoy the most, is the Polar Express. So we ordered the Polar Express soundtrack. Now this is on a, it's on like sort of frosted white, frosted clear kind of vinyl. So it's like a white frosted clear. I don't know what they actually call it, but great soundtrack. Of course, you got to listen to Hot Chocolate, when and the Polar Express theme. Those are both great songs for the holidays. So we were glad to add this one as well. I'm a fan of a soundtrack. I'm a fan of Christmas music. That's both. This is one that I had pre-ordered. Also, this was a repressing that I pre-ordered a while ago. And so this was what I figured was probably going to be almost my last record of the month. Did not turn out to be that way. But so that is another Death Cab for Cutie. This is the photo album. So at this point, I'm only missing 2 studio albums by Death Cab. I'm missing Kintsugi, and I can never remember the name of it, but it's like Thank You for Today, I think is the name of the album. So, but this one is the photo album. It's a 2021 repressing. And just one second. All right, we're back. Sorry about that. So we were working on Death Cab for Cutie, the photo album. So this one's a 2021 João Carvalho remaster, and it includes the original vinyl plus a bonus track plus, essentially the big pull on this one is that it has like the original photographs in the booklet. This is just black vinyl, nothing super incredible. But it was an album I didn't have. Again, trying to build that collection up. This album has Movie Script Ending. That's kind of the big single off of this one. And so I was very pleased to get that. Now, in the process of picking that one up, I did something that's dangerous if you're a record lover, which is I went on St. Marie Records website and I started kind of rifling through what they had there. And I discovered that they had this. And so I bought this. It's a 10-inch record, Elton John, Step Into Christmas. It says, ho, 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 who'd be a turkey at Christmas? Still got the price tag on it. It's $25. And the reason that I still have the price tag on it is because I haven't taken it off yet. But I couldn't get the little hype sticker off, so I've still got it in its shrink, but it's opened. So this is a 4-song, 10-inch record. It is on red translucent vinyl. It has, on one side, it has Step Into Christmas, which is a song I'm very familiar with, probably Elton John's most famous Christmas song. Always harder to get these things back in than it is to get them out. It's got Ho Ho Ho, Who'd Be a Turkey at Christmas. Side B has 3 songs, All Quiet on the Western Front, Cold at Christmas in the Middle of the Year, and Calling It Christmas with Joss Stone. So really great 10-inch record. Nice to have a little Elton John Christmas music. I enjoy that. So we added that. Now, these next few records, I did not expect to come. Well, one of them I did. But I had pre-ordered these, again, months ago. And I mentioned this in a previous video where I was trying to fill out my Casey Musgraves collection. And there was only 2 studio albums I was missing. And I had already ordered them. So one of them, so this is a Vinyl Me Please exclusive. And that is Pageant Material. If you don't know anything about Vinyl Me Please, the quality of Vinyl Me Please is phenomenal. I mean, the level of quality here, this is embossed right here. It's really remarkable. So Pageant Material, we ordered from Vinyl Me Please. It ended up coming in a little earlier than we thought. This is on gold vinyl. I was expecting this to come early October because it said it would be in warehouse late September. But very pleased to have this. Her sophomore album, the lacquers were cut by Barry Grent at Alchemy Mastering at AIR, pressed on exclusive 180-gram gold nugget vinyl, and it comes with a really great listening notes booklet. Again, this is one I found on a whim, and I could not pass up. Dangerous to look online. So Alexi Murdoch's Time Without Consequence. This is an album I've looked for before, and it had not been pressed in a while, at least not in the U.S., I just did not expect it to be available. But just like 500 Days of Summer is one of my favorite movies, so is Away We Go. And Away We Go, most of the soundtrack is done by Alexi Murdoch. A lot of the songs off of this album. It's an album that really I love. Beautiful singer-songwriter. It's on a mint vinyl. It's not my favorite color of vinyl, but it is on a mint vinyl. This is a Newberry Comics exclusive, and it was limited to 750. So, again, really glad to have that as a part of the collection. So then I did something I've never done before, which is I traded in records. Okay, so I traded in 3 records, got rid of 3 records. I went through my whole collection, and I was like, these are the only 3 I'm really willing to part with right now. And instead of that, I got 2 records back. I'll show you. All right, we're almost there. Never had to stop a video so many times, but we're almost there. We last did Alexi Murdoch, so now... so I traded in 3 records. That's what I started to say. Traded in 3 records, went through my whole record collection, and I was like, okay, I don't need these 3 albums. It was the only 3 that I felt comfortable getting rid of in my entire collection. And these were records, and I think this is a good lesson for people who collect records or are new to records. There's always going to be that FOMO, that fear of missing out. There's also going to be that sense of like, hey, I just want to get something. I just want to buy something, and I kind of like this. I'd like to have it. But that's not the same as like, this is a record that I'm really going to spend. And that's the question you have to ask yourself. When I want to sit down and listen to records, is this the kind of record that I want to spend? So I had 3 that I was like, these are probably ones I'm not going to listen to very much. And I would rather trade them in, which is something I've never done, but I've watched people on YouTube in the vinyl community do, and to get store credit towards records that I would spend. And so I did that. And I traded in 3. I got 2 records from that. And the 2 records I got are brand new albums. So one of them, got these at St. Marie. Again, Wyatt over at St. Marie, great guy. One of them was, he had stocked the Death Cab for Cutie because he knew I was trying to buy it. But there was only one there that I didn't have yet. And it was an EP. It wasn't one I was really necessarily planning on buying. But of all their EPs, there's like 2 I was interested in. This is one of them that I don't already own. So this is the Open Door EP. So again, this is on black vinyl. Nothing really remarkable about the vinyl, but it is nice to have. It's, just like 4 or 5 songs. It's not a lot. I think it's 5 songs. I think there's 4 tracks on one side and a single track on the back side. But it's a great little collection of songs, and I'm really glad to have it in the Death Cab collection. The one I was really excited about, and I knew I wanted to get for sure, again, I had recommended this. They went ahead and got it, but I hadn't actually pre-ordered it. So I was really happy to be able to get it, is this one here, which is Snow Patrol, The Forest is the Path. This is their new album. Man, the first couple songs on this, I think they're called All and Everything, are absolutely beautiful songs. And I've been listening to this album a lot lately. I've been really liking it. It's on a really rich, it looks brighter on here than it is. It's like a deep blue vinyl record. It's double LP, and it's really good. So it is deluxe gatefold marbled blue edition, includes the singles The Beginning and All. So, and I think that's the 2 songs I was talking about. So both really, really good. Highly recommend it. It's my first Snow Patrol vinyl, but there's definitely a couple more that I'll end up getting. Now, so those were trade-ins. They didn't cost me anything. They were a swap out. And then this next one is one I knew I was going to get because this was my last record of the month from Vinyl Me Please. I swapped for this album, and I'm definitely going to mispronounce this. So this is Sigur Rós, and this is Agatis Bæjarn. So sorry. If you don't know this band, they're Icelandic. They're mostly instrument. They're vocals. Jónsi is the vocalist. And again, please forgive me if I mispronounce that. But they are. The music is really the thing. The vocals are almost an instrument for the album. The vocals are often done in a very high Icelandic language. But then there are also sometimes where he's literally singing in gibberish, just making up words to create a sound. The album is beautiful. So this is let's see, pressed on exclusive 2LP deep blue vinyl. Exclusive listening notes by Martin Aston, includes an art print. And it says, not just an undeniable masterpiece, but for many, a religious experience by Stereo Gum. This is a soft, beautiful album. This is a great album for playing in the background. It is on, like I said, double deep blue vinyl. So just a really rich blue, very similar to that Snow Patrol in a way. But the Snow Patrol had like some marbling throughout it. But what a great album. Again, it's Vinyl Me Please, so it has embossing on the cover. They did black inner sleeves. This one's older than the other Vinyl Me Please albums I've gotten. So instead of having like a small book in it, it has a wider book in it with the notes on the album. And then this is another one I had pre-ordered when I pre-ordered the Pageant Material album by Casey Musgraves. And again, this one I wasn't thinking would come until August, but it came early. And this is Casey Musgraves' Golden Hour. And this is the last studio album I didn't have. So this is a double LP. I believe it's double LP. Let me double check. It might be single LP. This one's actually just single LP. That's right. And it's like a orange and pink vinyl. And it's soft color, so it's very hard to see that separation. Like looking at it right now, I can see that the orange is on the inside. I think you can see it more on the back. And then the pink is on the outside. But they're both very soft, subtle colors. But this is the Golden Hour, and it's a beautiful album. I really love Casey Musgraves, and I'm glad that I now have all of her studio albums in my collection. Again, I'm not somebody that needs all the variants. I just want one variant. But I am someone that likes to have like specific artists, not all the artists, but specific artists. I love to have their whole collection. Now, this one is the second edition of Golden Hour from Vinyl Me Please. It's a special edition of Casey's Grammy Award-winning Album of the Year, pressed on exclusive 180-gram orange and pink vinyl, lacquers cut by Barry Grent at AIR Mastering. This is a Vinyl Me Please exclusive. Just came back in, so I'm sure that you can still get some. Highly recommend it. Again, the quality of the material, fantastic. Now, this is one I ordered, and I didn't know I was going to get this, but this came up late in the month. I just picked it up today. In fact, I haven't even listened to yet that last Casey Musgrave since I picked it up. And I always, when I get albums, I listen to them once before I put them away just to make sure everything's okay with the album. These last two I haven't even listened to yet at the time of making this video. So that Casey Musgraves one. So this was one that came out this week. I did not know it was coming out. But another one of my favorite record stores is a place called NTX Vinyl. I've talked about them on the channel before. And NTX Vinyl, they specifically... they have booths inside of like marketplaces. So specifically here in the DFW area, there's a bunch of marketplaces called Painted Tree Marketplaces. And those marketplaces have booths for NTX Vinyl. There's one here in North Richland Hills, which is pretty close to me. There's one in, I think, Frisco. And I can't remember. I think the other one's maybe in like the Denton area. I don't remember exactly. So G.I. Sanders, the guy who runs NTX Vinyl, he's got a great YouTube channel. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. He does, now he's got this thing in his Now Spinning group on Facebook where he'll kind of tell us ahead of time, hey, these are the albums that are going to come out. Let me know what you'd be interested in. I'll try and get you one. And so one of the things that he shows us what he's planning on buying for new and restocks. And you can say, I'd take a copy of that. And one of the ones he threw on there that he said he was, curious to see if anyone kind of bid on is the one I immediately bid on, is this one, which is Jars of Clay, Much Afraid. Now, if you're not familiar with Jars of Clay is a sort of college acoustic, college rock type band from the mid-90s, and they went beyond that, but really got popular. Their first album came out in like 1995. And it was self-titled, and it had the song Flood. And this is a Christian band, but that song got like mainstream radio play everywhere. It was a big song. So this is their second studio album, Much Afraid. This is a Music on Vinyl release, which Music on Vinyl does a fantastic job. Now, it's a little cloudy because I've actually got two sleeves on this because I didn't want to lose that Music on Vinyl hype sticker, but it was not coming off the original sleeve. So I just double sleeved it. So... and I don't think that the Music on Vinyl outer sleeves are quite the quality that I'd prefer on mine. I'd like it a little bit thicker. But so this album has Crazy Times on it. It has, let's see if I can see that track list. Fade to Gray. My favorite song on this album is a song called Frail, which, back in the day when we used to make all these mix CDs And those mix CDs, you'd really put work into them. It's, you know, like a mixtape. You put work into it. You really try and make it something special that's meaningful. And I had these two songs paired together. It was a song by the band Water Deep called Everyone's Beautiful, and then it would kind of fade right into Frail by Jars of Clay. And those two songs together are gorgeous, so I highly recommend them. This is on a 180 gram ultra clear vinyl. So there's the ultra clear vinyl. And it's a single LP, but really nice. Glad to have that in the collection. And I really wanted to buy that because I'm hoping that it will encourage Essential Records, which is the label that they're on. You know, I think that's now owned by Capital Christian or whatever, to press the self-titled, because self-titled is definitely one we need. So ultimately for September, let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Still a lot. But again, 2 of those were traded for. I actually went down 3 to add 2. 3 of those were albums that were supposed to come in August and came a little bit early from Vinyl Me Please. Well, 2 of them were. 1 was supposed to come this month. So I'm pretty happy with what I got. I got a plan for next month. It should be less than this, and I'm excited about it. So what did you pick up in August, and what out of this sounds good to you? Let me know.